Welcome once again. I'm Zablon. Welcome to the Database Design and Programming Sequel. It's Thursday. We say Thursday is that day, right? One of my favorite day of the week where I get to interact with all of you. Okay. Yeah. So as I said, my Easter was, yeah, I'll tell you as we progress. Don't worry. Just hold on, hold on. I'll tell you how my Easter was. Meanwhile, kindly just remind your friends to join. All right. Just tell them the session is about to start. Please let them join. Tell them to join. All right. Now, you know what? The sun is out. It's a sign that today's gonna be a great day. As I share my presentation slide, let me know if my slide is visible on your end. Is it? All right. So I want to do a small recap of what we covered last week, and then we can switch it up to what you're going to cover today. So today's content is premium, as I said, all right? Be sure to stick along so that I can take you through today's session. Just 1 minute, all right, there. Now, last week we covered something, okay, this is the wrong presentation slide, sorry. All right, there. Now, last week we covered about normalization and all the techniques to reduce redundancy and optimize the database structure. We say normalization is a systematic approach to decompose or break down tables to eliminate data redundancy, which means repetition, and undesirable characteristic like insertion anomaly in the DBMS, update anomaly in DBMS, and delete anomaly in DBMS, right? We also touched on the importance of normalization, like we said, it reduces the redundancy, which means repetition, improves query performance, minimize update anomalies, and also enhances data integrity to ensure that there is no data corruption. We also said we also covered the various form of DBMS. We've said there are various, but our the ones that you're required to know is the first three. So we have the first normal form, the second normal form, we have the third normal form, we have the BCNF, the fourth normal form, and the fifth normal form. So we started by saying the fourth normal form. For anything to be in the first normal form, it has to be in atomic, right? And then we also covered, let me open the first normal form. So for a table to be in the first normal form, it should follow the following rules. It should only have a single atomic valued attributes or column. All the columns in a table should have unique names, and the order in which the data is stored should not matter. We also touch again on second normal form. For a table to be in second normal form, it should be in the first normal form and should not have what we call a partial dependency. And then that normal form, a table is said to be in that normal form. It's satisfied to be in first and second normal form, and it does not have what we call a transitive dependency. And that was it about last week's content. Let me share the link to this presentation slide if you don't have. If you want to go through at your own pace, let me copy the link. There, I've shared it. Don't know if it's visible in the end. All right, yeah, I can see quite a number of you are joining, so that means it's visible. All right, so let's leave last week's content now. Let's switch it up to today's content. All right, another thing, I want to clarify something regarding the feedback. So this week I haven't done any feedback. I'll be giving you feedback regarding your assignment next week. So please notice, I've not done any feedback this week, so I'll be sending out feedback next week. I hope we agreed on that one. Yes. Now, today we're going to cover So what you're going to learn at the core of this lesson, you're going to learn how to do the following. Number one, you're going to understand the importance of backup and different types of backups in MySQL. You're also going to differentiate between hot and cold backups and identify when to use each. We say hot like a heater. Number three, we are going to learn how to use MySQL command line tools like MySQL dump and MySQL for creating and storing backups. Number four, we're going to perform what we call hands-on activities to backup, restore, and migrate a database using real-world scenarios. All right. So first things first. I know all of you understand what exactly a backup is. So in your own maybe language or in your own terms, maybe in the chat you can tell me what do you understand by the term backup. Yeah, when I say I want to back up my files to a different device so that maybe I can always reference it whenever I need to. What do you understand by the term backup? Yeah, maybe you can type in the chats. Thank you, Nathan. Creating a copy of the original. Thank you so much, Nathan. Richard, give a copy of the file. Nice one. Lucy. All right. I'm seeing quite a number of replies. Storing data in alternative device. Pauline, amazing. Oh, there's two Pauline Anna and Pauline Wangi. Storing for future reference. Amazing. Eben, repository. Wow. Okay. Shalom. Shalom. Creating replicas for recovery. Hey, Shalom. Nice name. Jane, make a copy of the data. Amazing. Thank you. Thank you to everyone who replied to that. Now that you understand like what a backup means, let's start by learning a backup, how to do backups in MySQL. So MySQL backup. In MySQL, you can make a backup of the entire database server, including database and configuration file. This is referred to a physical backup. Alternatively, you can create a backup of a specific database or a table, which is known as a logical backup. I know, I'm sure you can remember what we covered in week 2, where we said there are three types of what? For me to design a database, there are 3 steps I have to follow. Yes, just remind me the 3 steps. We touched on 3 steps that you need to follow for you to design a backup. Conceptual ones like Stanley. Hey, Stanley, thank you so much, Stanley. Hey, it was only Stanley in class. Hey. You guys are not ready. Hey, Bobby, logical, conceptual. Thank you, Margaret. Requirement analysis. Repeat the question. Hey. Hey, John, physical model. No, we did not touch anything around physical model. Hey, wait, please, just make sure you read. You get like spare some 10 or 30 minutes to always read what we covered. Like, for example, if today we are covering backup and you don't remember anything around normalization, just go to the LMS, read the content that is there. You'll always be good, right? Now, as we've said, in MySQL, you can make a backup of the entire database, including a database and configuration file. This is referred as physical backup. Alternatively, you can create a backup of a specific database or table, which is known as a logical backup. So the reason why I said logical means you're just creating the database and the table. We're going to see how you can create logical. This is the most used. The other one, physical, it's kind of expensive. There's a tool that we use to, let me see if I can remember the tool. It's which one now? Okay, let's see. It's called, this is the tool. Um, This is the tool that is usually used to perform physical backup. And another advantage of this tool, you can use it for also what you call monitoring. Okay, you can monitor how the database is working, the CPU and all that. It doesn't work in Windows. I'm sorry, Windows guys. Yeah, it only works in Linux and Mac, the Unix ecosystem. Yeah, so if you want to see like how this persona or Percona works, you need to have like a Windows operating system. No, sorry, not a Windows, but a Mac or a Linux, okay? And then another catch is you have to have sufficient storage because it uses a lot of storage. This tool, yes, a lot of CPU. So please don't try it if you're using a Linux or a Mac and you have 4 GB of memory. Otherwise, it's gonna disappoint you. Yes. Yeah, this is the tool. If you want to learn more about this tool, come to the resources, view product documentation, and then you start reading. So you can always click MySQL there, and then you start reading like what it is, how to install now, and then you can proceed from there. Now, let's come back to our slides. Okay, I want to open GitHub. Tell me if you are able to access this repo. 1 minute. Yeah, just once I share the link, please just go to this repo. There, I've shared the link. Just give me 1 minute, I change it to public because it's the repo that we'll be using for today's class. Yeah, it's now accessible. All right, so once you access the DB backup repo, uh, just follow through what I'll be doing, okay? Once you access, don't do anything, you just wait. You need to refresh. Those who are saying for, you need to refresh the browser. All right, so once you're good, so it should look like this. Database backup, MySQL dump, because that's the tool that we'll be using. And then I've created for you a sample database there. And then, yeah, now we can start with the first thing. So let's learn about the logical backup. So with logical, when you hear the term logical, it means it allows you to recreate table, structure, and data without copying the actual data files. Logical backup exports database structure and data to SQL statement. So yeah, have you managed to access? Because I'm seeing some of you are complaining that you're not able to access. Is it accessible? The link that I've just shared. Okay, for those who are not able to access, please just refresh your browser. You should have access to it. Now, a popular tool for performing what you call logical backup is which you call MySQL dump. So just watch what I'll be doing. Open your CMD and then write this, but don't execute first. This is the tool. It's a command line utility, SQL dump, that one, this one. All right. So you have to write MySQL dump -u, okay? Then you specify the user there, and then -p. We usually do that for password. Please don't write pass, just pay attention kindly. Please pay attention. And then database name. Then you specify the name of the backup file. This is what you call a logical backup, right? .sql, like that. So that's how the logical backup looks like. So you start by writing MySQL dump because it's a command line utility. You specify the user that will be executing this command. You also have to add the password, and then you specify the database name that you want to create a backup for. Are we good on that? Yeah, we'll do it with an example. Have you understood how to write that? All right. Now, so a logical backup provides you with flexibility, but can take longer to restore than a physical backup. Now, let's learn about another type of backup that we call a physical backup. Hey, now what? Physical backup captures the binary data files which provide an exact copy of the database at a specific point in time. Therefore, a physical backup is restored faster than a logical backup. But remember, I've said a physical backup is what? Expensive. All right, because it uses other tools that you need to have prior to do the backup. So, for example, the tool that we've just talked about, the Percona Extra Backup. It's an open source and a powerful backup tool. But I've said you need to have what? Sufficient storage, even if you're using a Unix operating system. So with the Percona, I hope I'm pronouncing the name correctly. Now, so for you to perform what you call a physical backup, you write this in your terminal. All the backups can be done in the terminal. You cannot use the GUI, the Workbench Extra Backup, then backup. You specify the user equals to username, like that, and then the password equals to password. So where you see I'm writing the value in form of a square bracket, you're supposed to write the actual user, not with the square bracket. So you remove the square brackets. That is, if you have the Percona, this is the command to execute. And then you write the target. You specify the target directory. For example, you could write backup like that, and then you execute. You'll be done. So you have to use this command line utility called extra backup, then specify a flag backup. Then you write the user that is executing this command, and then you write the password. But you need to have what? That tool that I've just shown you. This one. This tool. All right, let's learn about another term. A kind of type of a back, not type, but state. Now, there's something what you call a hot backup, hot like a heater. A hot backup are performed while the database is active, running, and serving requests. This method ensures continuous availability and minimal disruption to users during the backup process. So with the tools that I've shown you, the Percona, you can perform hot backups capturing the database state without locking tables and keeping the database available during the backup process, right? So for you to perform what you call a hot backup, the hot backup is usually performed when the database is actively running, while the users are still using the database. And then we also have another state which you can perform the database. We call it the cold backup. So with cold backup, cold backups are performed when the database is offline and no write operation occurs. This ensures a consistent snapshot of the entire database at the point of backup. So with the cold backups are performed when the database is offline. To perform cold backup, you can use the MySQL dump, which you're going to cover in the command line. All right. Now, a summary of what we've just covered, we said a logical backup exports database structure in data files that include SQL statements. A physical backup captures an exact binary image of the entire database system, including the configuration and data files. We also say a hot backup creates a copy of the database while it is actively running, whereas the cold backup creates a copy of the database while it's still while it is in shutdown. Now, let's see how we can use okay, there's another type of restoring a database. But before we touch on restoring, let's do some hands-on. I believe everyone has accessed GitHub, right? Anyone who has not accessed this repo, please let me know. All right, cool. So let's start now. So first things first, I'll need to just skip this for now and then come here, how to backup and restore MySQL database. Copy. Once you copy it, copy it, right? Let's open our SQL Workbench. We're good up to that point. Anyone who's lost? Okay, say that wait, slow down. All right. We're good. All right. So once you've opened your SQL Workbench, paste. Okay. Today we're not writing, we're just pasting. Okay. Let's take like 1 second. You're done. Please react with the thumbs up if you're done. Be good, right? I can execute right now. All right, let's execute. So once you execute, refresh, it's here, right? The table employee is here. There, just where did I get this command? I shared a GitHub repo link where you can get all these commands. So your work is just to copy and paste them in your SQL Workbench or command line, using the command line. You start from here. Let me copy this again. You start from here. Let me share the link. Please, anytime that is database class, just make sure you join early. Now, once you access this GitHub repo, come to it's written how to backup and restore here. This is where I am. Copy. Okay, you've copied. Open your SQL Workbench and then paste Control V like that. Then execute like that. I believe we are all at the same pace now. Which notes now? So once you access the GitHub repo, please paste the command, all right? Now, today I'm not writing the commands. I've made it easy for everyone. You just come and click. There's an icon here for you to copy. Once you click this icon, top right, copy, come SQL Workbench, okay, and then you paste. To paste is Control V for all the operating system. Yeah, just Control V. And then you'll have the same commands as me, the ones that I'm executing here. Once you've executed, you'll get all these green checks. Now let's leave our SQL Workbench and now open our CMD. There is my CMD. Okay, let's open our CMD. Be good. Thank you for the affirmation. The ones who are reacting the thumbs up, that means you're all at the same pace. Now let's go with it. I'll change mine to my favorite location. I love everything that I want to maybe use it later to be in the desktop. Okay, so you can just create the backup anywhere that you want, whether it's in your downloads, documents, which other, the C drive. It's up to you. Now, for me, I like mine being in the desktop. So I'll CD in the desktop. For you remember again, Windows 10 and 11, the path is kind of different. So if you're using a Windows 11, you need to go to OneDrive and then desktop if you want to have your backup in the desktop. But if you're using a Windows 10 and going backwards, just go CD desktop. You'll have the same path as me. Now, so the next step, I'm not writing, I'm just coming back to the repo, copy, right? I've copied, right? Now come and execute it. Control V, press enter. You'll be prompted to enter the password. Now, if your password is 1234, you write 1234. There, I'm done. I've already created a backup for the database that you just created, the HR, right? So if I minimize, don't know if I can go back. Now, this is how my desktop looks like. If you see here, the file is here, hr.sql that we just created using MySQL dump. And now, for any case, if I was to delete anything in the HR table, I can still roll back using this backup. Okay. Did everyone get the same result as me? No. Wait, what do you mean no? Hey, everyone is saying no. Access denied. Wait. All right. So the other thing could be, do we all have MySQL Server? All right. So, okay, let me just do it and then I'll allow you to maybe share the screen towards the end so that I can assist you on how um to solve the bug or the error, right? So I know for most of you, it's only that you've not added MySQL in the .env file. So what I can ask you is go to your C drive and then copy the MySQL server path, come and add it to the .env, this file. Once you click env, you open environment variables, just click path where you have path, and then add, click new, you paste it there. So it should read C MySQL Server like this one. C program file MySQL Server 8.0. If yours is 8.4, you just write 8.4 /bin. This is for everyone who's using a Windows. That's why it's throwing that error, MySQL is not recognized. It's because we've not added MySQL in the path. That's the only thing. Again, you cannot use this command where in MySQL Workbench because it's written as a command line utility in MySQL for creating backups in database, MySQL database. So this one only works in the command line. You cannot use it in the Workbench. Now, I want to come back to the Workbench. We have the table and we've already created the backup, right? So I can just confirm the table exists. Now, my next question to you guys will be, if I want to delete any row here, who can tell us maybe how we can delete maybe row 2, this row? Yeah, because that's the accidentally deleting some rows from a table and then we roll back from a table, we see if we are going to recover. Yes, just type in the chat, I'll be checking. We covered it in week 2. I want to delete this row. Which command will I use? Regan, nice. Lois saying drop. No, we did not say drop. Drop and delete the entire table. Yes, delete. Then what? After delete, what am I writing? Thank you, Jerome. Let me get your name. Kaloki. Thank you so much, Kaloki. Kaloki got it right. So let's write what Kaloki has suggested. So if I want to delete a row, just this row, right? And then we're going to um, restore from a backup to see if we are going to retrieve this row. So right now I want to write. Okay, just give me 1 minute. I want to. Okay, now. There. So I want to execute so that you see the difference. We have everything. Now I want to delete. So if execute, get a green check. So we can retrieve again. There, just disappeared, right? Initially, we had 5 rows, but now we've deleted 1 row, right? Using this command. This is the command. Delete from employees where ID is equals to 2. Now, as you can see, the IDs are now 1, 3, 4, and 5. Initially, it was 5. This is for previous execution, but this is the new one. The new one has only 4 rows. Now we want to restore, okay? To see if we restore from a backup that we had already created, if you're going to get again the data that we deleted. Now, let's come back to our CMD, right? The command now to execute is this one that is written here. MySQL -u root, that one. So copy, then come back again and paste it there. So I'll just paste my password here for it to create automatically. So MySQL -u, that is my password, then the HR, now there. Now, if I come back to Workbench and then try to retrieve again, I'll open a new working area. I'll write use, that's the name of the database, select all from employees, like that. Now, if I execute, what do we get? There. Have you all understood how to create backup and restore from a backup? Because initially we had deleted, okay? Good thing I did not delete the execution. So here it is. Initially it was 1, 3, 4, and 5 because we deleted. And then we restored using this command, MySQL -u. I just pass in my password, but you can, if you don't pass in your password like this, you'll be prompted to enter the password like this. Okay. So yeah, and then you specify the database that you want to create the backup, and then remember this backup that we created before, it's here, hr.sql. So that's the file that I'm pointing to. And then you press enter. Are we all at the same place? Now, the password is your password, the one that you're using to sign into Workbench. That's the password that I'm passing. Don't pass my password. If your password is 1234, you write 1234. Do you guys need a minute to try it on your own? And then I can come back and do again on about restore. Okay, 2 minutes. So yeah, all right. Now, yeah, just take your time. The commands are here. So if you want to create a backup, this is the command. But remember, if you've opened CMD, just make sure you are somewhere where you can access the file once the file will be generated. Because as I said, I love everything that I want to access later to be in the desktop. If it's not something that I need maybe later, I'll just create a new folder in the documents there and then execute. But I want to access this. So once, meanwhile, as I talk, maybe you can be doing it before I come back to the restore. Now, once I executed that, it created a file in my desktop. This is my desktop, right? There it is. Here's the file that we created, hr.sql. Now, the next step was to, we deleted a row, okay? Because we started by creating a table and then we saw how the table looked like. It had 5 rows. And then we deleted that row to test if the backup that we created, it will be able to restore the data, right? We just gave it a test to delete a row, okay? And then when we delete that row, we now came back again to the command line to test again if you're able to recover the data that we lost from the backup. Now, how do you restore? You use this command, MySQL -u root. So the reason why I passed my password is to not be prompted to enter my password. But you don't need to go the way I've written it. You can even, if you write like this, you can still write it like this and then you'll be prompted. So I was just avoiding to be prompted and then to come and check it again. You see, it's the same thing, just a different way of doing the same thing. All right. The ones who are just for 2 minutes, please let me know if you're done. Everything is there. I'm not writing anything new. they are here. So your work is just come and copy, paste, copy, paste. The one who just came me to repeat the story, it's written here how to restore from a database. You just need to come and copy and take it to your work command line. Don't even type, just copy. So again, make sure you test if you're able to recover from a backup by deleting. You can even delete like 2 rows. Don't just delete one. You can delete row 1, row 2, or delete all, and then try to restore from a backup. Now let's learn about restoration. Now that we've already touched based on restoring. So to back up a database on the MySQL server, you use the MySQL dump program that comes by default with MySQL client installation, right? Now, to restore a backup created by MySQL dump program, you use the MySQL command line program. All these commands that we are using today, they can only be executed in the command line. Please don't write them in the workbench. They will not work. Now, there's something different I want us to learn. It's called point-in-time recovery. I believe everyone has been able to do the backup. How do you add MySQL to the environments? Hey, okay. To add it in the environment, if you're using a Windows, just type your search and then write env. Don't even write a long one. Env, and then you press enter. Once you press enter, open your environment variables. Come to where it's written path. Here, double click, say new, paste it there. Okay. So the path that you're copying is should look like this. MySQL, that one server bin. Where did I get this path from? If you go to your C drive and then program file, you see MySQL. Okay. And then click on the server, open the server folder, and then open the binaries folder. Copy the path at the top, bring it to the environment variables. Close once you've done that, you need to close your CMD completely and then reopen it again. Write MySQL. Now it will work because you've already pointed you've given the system where to execute it. It comes across any command written in MySQL, so it knows where to take that command. It take it to the binaries, and then you'll get the correct thing. Now, point-in-time recovery. So point-in-time recovery allows you to restore a MySQL database to a specific time in the past. The point-in-time recovery relies on two key components: full backup and binary logs. Once you understand the point in time recovery, you're done. You're good. Okay. So let's start with the full backup. This serves as the foundation for recovery, providing the starting state of the database. You also have the binary logs. These binary logs files record all changes made to the database, allowing you to replay those changes to a desired point. If you don't have a full backup or binary logs enabled, you can carry point-in-time recovery. Okay, we're going to see that later. So again, point-in-time recovery is not possible in Windows operating system. Can only be done in Linux or Unix operating system. Reason being, MySQL is meant for the Linux operating system. So if you can allow me, please don't do anything. Just watch me on how I'll do the point-in-time recovery, and then I'll explain what has just happened. Okay. So right now I already have my Linux. It's here. I'm using the server kicked me out. Okay. Let me try to sign in back in. There. So I'm using a server. Okay, I know I'm in Windows, but I'm using this server. So as you can see, it's written Ubuntu. Okay. Now, believe it's visible now. All right. Please don't do anything. Just watch me how I'll do the point in time. So first things first, I'll need to install MySQL. There, it's installing. All right, just completed installing MySQL server because that's the only thing I need. Now we can test it by just writing MySQL. There I'm in. Okay. Now the next step is I need to check for binary logs. So I'll just write show global variables like log bin. So that, yeah, as you can see, it's enabled. The reason why I'm showing you how to perform point-in-time recovery, because you can, when deploying your project, mostly the server that you'll get is Linux, okay? So the next step is to create a database. Okay, I'll just come back to our repo because everything's there. And then I'll just use this. Now, come back to my server. And then I'll execute there. So press enter. Now I'll use HR. So select all from employees. There, you can see there's the data. But now I'm using what? I'm using a server that is deployed somewhere. I don't know. Now, I need to test by deleting. Okay, this one's gonna be a different one. So the next step that I want to do is check for, okay, let's say, the other example, we deleted row 1, right? Or row 2. Right now, I want to execute something. Delete from employees. I want to pass in the where, okay? What will happen? Okay, misspell delete there. So I've made a mistake. I've written the commands wrongly, and then I executed them. So what happened is the delete command deleted everything in the table. So right now, if I try to select all from employees, what do I get? It's 0, it's empty, right? Because I deleted using the delete, that one. Now, let's see if we can use the point in time to recover all this data that we've lost. Okay, please pay attention. Don't do anything. If you're writing, just write. Okay, please pay attention. Now, the next step is, since we deleted all the rows unintentionally, we want to recover. Now, let's see the current position of the binary logs. To do that, we write show master status. Now, something that I want you to pay attention is this one, binary log 0003. This is the number that we are going to point to, okay? Right now, we've deleted the table. So that means I don't need to have the HR database anymore. So I can just delete the entire HR database because it doesn't have anything. So I'll write drop database HR and then exit because you can see, let's just confirm show databases. There, it has disappeared, right? So exit and back to the sub. Now, the next step is we have a command line utility for performing the recovery point in time. So we usually write MySQL bin log, okay? And then we write dash dash verbose to get like a complete of what happened. And then we point to where the logs are stored. Now, remember again, we still need to point to the address of the binary. So it was bin log. How many zeros? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3. There. So I'm pointing to this one. Please pay attention, this one. So I know it's stored here, variable, library, MySQL, binary logs, and then 3. And then I'll add a pipe to redirect. Okay, not redirect, yeah, but redirect me searching using grep. I want to search anything that has a delete. So if I press enter, what do you see? We can see we got delete from HR, employees, that, all that was executed, right? Please don't do anything, just pay attention. The ones who are reacting, please pay attention. Otherwise, you're gonna ask me to repeat, and I've said, please pay attention. Now, when you write MySQL bin log, dash, you cannot perform this again in Windows, only in Linux. Now, MySQL bin log, dash dash purpose, variable, library, and then MySQL, because that's where MySQL is usually installed in Linux. And then you point to this binary log, you pass in the address of the binary. Remember, we had to write what? Show master status, right? Now, it was binary log 00, that 5. Okay, let me just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, 5 zeros and that one. And then when executed, we got that. Now, You see, when you read these logs, you'll see that it starts with 2025 04 24 803 according to server time, server ID 1 and log post 1604 CRC 32 and all that logs. Now, our main area of concern is here. Okay. Now, as we said, point in time, you need to point to the time that where the command was executed, or the time the command was executed. Now, as you can see, we have the year, the month, the dates, time, minutes, seconds. Okay. Now, if you want to see like how each command was executed, we can pass in something here. As you can see, these are all the commands were deleted from the server. Delete, where, so going like that up to the 5th row. Okay, so it shows you how the commands were executed one after the other. Now we want to recover. So how do we recover? Now we want to point in time. I want to write these dates. Let me write them somewhere so that I'll be able to reference them. It's 2025. Um, today's date and month. Time is 8:03. All right, great. Now come back to the server. Once you've written the date and time, I say the date and time, you can get it from BAT. Come back. Remember, we also deleted the entire database, so we don't have the HR database. If I write show databases, there's no HR. All right. So the next step, again, we'll use MySQL bin log, pass in a flag, top date time equal. We start with the year, hyphen, the month, today's date, space. Now you write what? The date, the exact time. It was 8 3 minutes and 14 seconds. Close that, space, and then you write you specify where the log is. So it is in var lib MySQL bin log. Just bin log number 00003, like that. And then you finalize with adding a pipe and then write MySQL. Then you press enter like that. Okay, so this is the command to do all that. Now we can now sign again to the server, show databases. Do you see now the HR? It's here. Now if I write use HR, okay, show tables, select all from employees. There. We call it point in time recovery. Yeah, I know most of you don't like the command line, but in software development, you must know the command line, how the terminal works. Yeah, I'm sorry, today we're not using the workbench. Yeah, I know you don't like writing the commands in the terminal, but please just start learning how to write this command as early as now. Okay, it's simple. Again, as I said, the reason why I'm using a Linux operating system is because when you're deploying a project, most databases can only be deployed where? In a Linux server. So I've just shown you how to do what you call a point in time recovery. So you're just pointing to a specific time when maybe a mistake happened, and then you recover from that. All right, and once you know how to do the point in time, you'll feel like Superman. We can learn the next thing. Okay, no, checkpoint question. Wow, okay. So before we do the checkpoint question, um, let's do some kind of database backup for all database. Now, um, uh, let's come back to the workbench. Now we are not in the server now. We've moved. Now we're in the workbench, the one that you have now. How many database can you see I have here? We have blog, all these, I can't even count them, right? Now, what I want to do is I want to delete, okay, before deleting, I want to create a backup of all, a few. Okay, yeah, all, and then delete some of them. The ones that have data, and then see if I'll be able to recover. Now, coming back to here, okay, this one's for table. So creating backup database, you can add the sample database if you want to create. Now backing all database, you just need to write this. So I'll just come and copy and then come back to my Windows CMD and then paste. Control V like that, and then press enter. So what's happening is my SQL dump to create for us the backup. We write the user who's doing this, and then the password, I'll be prompted to enter the password. If I don't want to be prompted, I can just pass my password after the P. And then you have to pass this flag for the server to know that you want to perform what you call a full backup of all the database that you have in your server. Like as you can see, I have a lot. I have blog, I have Val, I have train booking, test, Tesla, all these, right? Now, if I execute this, it will be created, all the database will be created where? In this file that I've written here, all databases.sql. So if I pass my password, then press enter there. If I go to my desktop, because I said I love having everything in the desktop, it's here. You see, it's here. It has been created. All databases.sql. Now, if we come back to the repo and then we try to remove or delete two databases, I can delete which one now? All right, let's delete. Drop databases in. So I'm just deleting a few databases, Compass, to see if I'll be able to recover them. More. That is enough. Now let's see if I'll be able to recover them. So again, I just come to the restoring all database. You just come and copy that. Come and pass it to your CMD. Then you press enter. So it's gonna take a few minutes or seconds there, depending with how heavy your database are. So mine are not that heavy. So I'll just come and refresh. And what do we see? The campus is here, the bookstore, the mall that I deleted, they're all here. Remember, even the commands are here. Blog, it's here, right? It has been restored. The mall, it's here. I deleted it, but it has been restored. The bookstore is here. It has been restored. Yes, and that is all about the backup and restoring. It was as simple as that. So can I get someone to read for us the checkpoint question? Oh, before we come to the checkpoint questions, apologies. Sorry. Allow me to digress. Last week, someone said you want to be taught how to store images. So please pay attention to what I'll do, and then you can do it now after this. Which one was it? Okay, lab 7. Let me show you with a simple demo project. Okay, so if you're able to access lab 7, please just go and access it. All right, so as you access lab 7 and then clone it, we can take a 2 minutes break and then I'll come back. I want to sip some coffee, then I'll come back. Let's listen to Alinko. Yeah, 1 minute break. All right, so I'm back. So it was a 1 minute break. Yeah, so let's come back here to lab 7. I believe everyone has accessed lab 7. You've cloned it to your machine, whether you're using a Windows, Mac, or any operating system. Yeah, you can just clone it. Now, let's start. The lab 7 is not visible. Please just refresh. You need to refresh your browser. Let me send the link again. I'll share the link. Please tell me if you're able to access. All right, cool. Now, I'll come open your CMD. All right. As I said, I love having everything that I'll need later in my desktop. You can choose any location in your computer. So I'll start with git clone. Why are we writing git clone? Because we want to download this repo from GitHub to our computer. All right. Now, if I press enter, it's gonna be downloaded. There it is. Now, first things first, I'll change the my position from desktop to where? To lab 7. Now, lab 7. How do you know which folder to move to? Now it's written here, cloning into lab 7. And then you press enter. Okay, let me don't press enter. Okay, my machine has freeze. All right. Now, once you've pressed enter, you'll change your position from desktop to lab 7. What we are doing, what we've just done is like this. You see, here's the file, right? Here's the folder, lab 7. What I've just done in the command line, I've opened it. Right now, I'm inside there. Here, I'm inside this folder. Okay? But now using what? The terminal. Now, my next step is to open Visual Studio Code. The same way can be done like this. Minimize, right click, open with, where is open with now? Open with code, right? So I'm just opening with code. Now, once you've opened it in Visual Studio Code, it will look like this, right? So first things first. Now, locate the file that's written index.js. Please locate the file that is written index.js. Come to line 15 of index.js, pass in your password. Mine is this one. Don't worry about the codes. I'll not be touching about the codes because that's a different section. It lands in your web development classes. So our main area of focus is how to showcase how JavaScript can be used to interact with database. Now, have you all written your password here? You can react to the thumbs up if you've written your password in line 15. Mine is that one. Please don't write your password as pass123, otherwise you're gonna get an error. So the next step is I need to download a sample image. So I'll just download this. Okay, the reason I'm downloading an image is because I can't locate where my images are in my computer, but you can just use an image that you have in your computer. There, I'll just download another one to be 2. There, I've downloaded 2 images. Okay, so let's come back to our Visual Studio Code. I know where they are. They're in the downloads, right? Now, so first things first, come back to our what? Terminal or CMD, and then write npm I for the backend to install what? All the dependency it will need for it to run this project. So as you can see, once I wrote npm I, it installed all the packages that I need. All right. So I can just test if it's working by writing npm start like that. You'll get the server running on port 8800. All right. Okay. So that means the server is working, the backend. Now, what I want to do, apologies, I could have started by telling you to also create another database called Gallery. I already have it, so let me just drop the one that I have, drop database. You don't have it, please, I'm dropping it because I already have it. So, but for you, you'll be required to create a database called Gallery. Okay, so start by creating database Gallery like that, and then you execute just that, right? Currently, it's empty. Okay, why is this one opening? There does not have any tables. As you can see, I'm clicking it multiple times. It's not opening any tables. That's the only thing that I've done. Created only a gallery database. So let's come back to our code and confirm everything is working. Now, the host is localhost. The user is that one. The database is gallery because we just created a gallery. Now, the next step is to start the what you call the front end, all right? So I'll use a different terminal. I can even use the one that I have here. So terminal, or you can just open another CMD, okay? So I'll cd client, okay? Press enter. The same way, I'll start by installing what you call dependency, like that. Great. Now, how do you run the front end? npm run dev. Where am I getting all these commands? All these commands are written where? Are written in the repo. If you go to the repo, they are written. You just need to follow through. As you can see, there. So create database. To run it locally, you just follow these steps. You create that table also. So I'll need to come and copy that. Okay, it's not copy. There. There. So if I refresh, there's the images, right? Now it only has what? Two two rows. Okay, three, 1, 2, and 3. Although this other one is just the timestamp. So the steps are written well here. You just need to follow these steps. Now CD gallery. Oh, apologies, I'll change here. It's supposed to be CD lab 7. Apologies, yeah. The root folder that I was creating was called, that I was using to develop the project was called gallery. That's why maybe confused. Now, once you've done that, and let's confirm the front end is working. Forgotten the number is 51, okay, 5173. So I'm just copying this address. So there it is. Now, our table is empty, right? I'll need to select an image that I have. So upload, the browse, it's opening in the wrong place. There. So these are the two images that we downloaded from the internet, right? So open, then upload. Once you upload, it will appear here, right? Because as you can remember, we got the image from Unsplash, so you can use the image that you have in your computer. And then I'll just browse another one, open, like that. There they are, right? So if I come back to the database, you can see the photos have been stored like that. There they are, because I've just uploaded two, right? That is one way of doing it, right? Now, this is just one way. Let me show you another way, okay? Now, let's go to a different lab. We've already done this. Let's go to a different lab. Now, this one was using a variant char to store the images, right? I'll explain later. And then, the repositories. Yeah, lab 8 now. So we have this other one. I'll come here again, send you the link. I'll share the link. Please find the link in the chats. Now, once you access the link, okay, we are done with the other project, so I can just stop the server. There, because I want to do a new one. I want to show you two ways of storing the images. So the first one, we've used the variant char, and now I want to also stop the server here. I want to close this entire folder. There. Now, git clone, paste the link, press enter. Okay, that's a different lab. So cd lab 8, press enter, code space dot there. And then this one is a different one, is built using Python. So first point, I'll pass in my password like that, and then save. All right. So just make sure once you pass your password, you save. Now I'll need a new database called photos. So I'm sure I already have it because I was doing this yesterday. So I'll drop it so that we start again. Now I'll just remove this, drop. There, I've deleted it. So you can see that we don't have photos anymore. So I'll create a new database. Let's call it photos. Okay, have I missed any step? Let's just confirm. Okay, I forgot to add you the step to create a database called photos, but I've shown you. And then you also need to create a different directory. So I'll just come and copy this and then paste it there. Press enter. I'll create a different directory, an empty one, right? So if I refresh, okay, there it is, the output, but it's empty. We also have the sample.jpg, right? And then our whole logic is here. So I want to execute this and see if the image the image is going to be stored. Okay, so once you get this output, sample saved to database, sample retrieved, and saved to output retrieved.jpg. Now, if I come back to here and then refresh, the photos is here. And then we have the tables, images. If I retrieve, you can see just saw the image, but now the data is written as what? Blob. Okay, you can see it's written as blob with a label. The label is white. Background blue, white. Okay, so there are two ways you can store the image. Number one, you can use variant char and then you pass the whole path of the image. Another way, you can use the data type blob, okay, so that you can store it. So what happens is, if I come here, you're storing just binaries of data when you're using blob. So if I write MySQL -u root -p and then try to use photos, select all from the tables called images. You can see it's binaries of data because we stored it as blob. You see? So those are the two different ways you can store the images. Yeah, it's taking long because just read all the binaries until you get to the last one. It's only one image. Now, another way that I usually prefer, I don't know if you've ever had, but as you're when you come towards the end of this program, you'll be required to develop a complete project, right? So another way you can store your images is this way, Cloudinary. So with this Cloudinary is you can store your images here. I think they usually provide like a free tier. So you store them here and then you fetch the link, and then the link is the one that you come and store where? To the database. Yes, I believe I've answered the one who said you need to be taught how to store images using two simple projects. And with that, can I get someone to read for us the checkpoint question? Kindly, one person to volunteer. Yeah, one person, kindly. Tamara. Okay, Tamara, you dropped your hand. Naserian. Naserian. Yes, Naserian.
What is a logical backup in MySQL?
Yeah, I believe you've all understood what a logical backup is in MySQL. Maybe you can just tell us in the chat what you think a logical backup is. Okay, it's only one person. Okay. Darlene, backup of a specific database or table. Thank you so much, Darlene. Yeah, I think you're also the one who said we do the images. Yeah, I've remembered now. Thank you, Darlene.
What is the difference between a hot backup and a cold backup?
Yes, hold like a heater. What's the difference between a hot and a cold backup? All right. Damilola, when done, well, the DB is actively running. Thank you, Dami. Darlene, nice one. We done. Nice one. Zamzam. Perfect. Oliver, amazing. Joseph, thank you. Rahab, amazing. Catherine, thank you. Daisy, Mary, impressive. Richard, thank you so much, Mary. Yeah, read the next one. Number 3.
Which MySQL command line utility is used to create a backup?
All right. Now, we've learned about the different command line utilities that you can use to create a backup. And it's very simple, by the way. Which one did we learn? MySQL dump. Thank you, Daisy, Pauline, amazing, Margaret, amazing. Thank you so much. Now, the last one.
What is a physical backup in MySQL?
Amazing. What's a physical backup in MySQL? All right, let's all clap for Naserian. She has done an amazing work. Can I get now a gent to read for us? Yeah, can we all clap for Naserian? Key takeaways. The key takeaways now. I want someone to carry the keys. Carry the keys and take them home. Nabat. Man's like Nabat. Yes, Nabat.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, you're audible. Go on.
Okay. Key takeaways. 1, use point in time recovery to restore my SQL database to a specific time in the past. Restore a database from full backup and restore to a specific time from the binary log to perform a point in time recovery. Use the MySQL command to restore a dump file created by the MySQL dump program. Use the MySQL dump program to make a backup of one or more tables from a database. Use the MySQL dump program to backup a database on MySQL server.
You're done.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing, amazing. Let's go. I got the keys. Okay, let's all clap for Mr. Nabat Kuria. All right. I know you have a lot of questions. Okay, yeah, I know you have a lot of questions. So I'm gonna stop the recording. The ones who are watching the recording, this is where the class ends. Can now take in the question, the Q&A, and you have a lot of questions. Again, as I said, I've not yet started giving out feedback for week 6 and 7. I'll do them next week. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. And that's it for those who are watching the recording. The class ended here.